What's up, Alpenhaus family? I just wanted to give you a few exercises that you could do in the comfort of your own home. A little full body workout, which includes a little warm up, followed by the workout, and then a little cool down, just to kind of lower the heart rate back down. So the first thing we're going to do is get started with the warm up, just to set the tone a little bit, get our heart rate up for the exercise. Starting right to the side here, nice and tall. We have an inchworm walkout, walking those hands right out to a push-up position, and then come through for an upward dog. And then we're just going to walk those hands right back. Okay, we can do 3 reps here just to get warmed up a little bit. If you want to go a little more, you can do anywhere from 5 to 8 reps. Walking those hands right out, through, and back up nice and tall. So this next warm-up exercise is going to be a push-up. So we're going to come right down into this push-up position, making sure that our hands are right below our shoulders. That butt is in a good position, back nice and flat. Here we're just going to lower ourselves right down and come right back up. Here we can do anywhere from 5 to 10 reps. If you have to modify it a little bit, grab in a shirt or a towel or something for the knees. Coming right up on the knees, same thing here. Right down and push right away. Same thing, anywhere from 5 to 10 reps. So our third exercise is just going to be bodyweight squats. So sitting right on those heels. Make sure to drive those knees out as we squat down. Nice and low. Then come up nice and tall here. Here we want to do 10 reps of bodyweight squats. Okay, so from the side, making sure we're really sitting on those heels instead of coming on the toes. Sit right back, squat down as far as we can, knees going out, and then come up nice and tall. And the final piece to our warm-up is going to be jumping jacks. So here, using our feet, we want to use our hands as well, kicking them both out at the same time. We want to make sure to do around 10 to 15 reps of the jumping jacks here, just to get that heart rate up a little more before going into that exercise. All right, so now we're going to get into the exercise. We're going to do a full body circuit, going back and forth from lower to upper body, and then finish off with a little bit of core and a corrective exercise. Okay, so each exercise we're going to do 2 to 3 times through with no rest in between. Each exercise will be done for 1 minute long. So the first one here, which we can use a chair or a couch, we're going to go single leg box squats. So squatting right down on that single leg, right down. You can either use 2 feet to stand back up, or if you want to make it a little more challenging, stand back up with that single leg. And then here we're just going to alternate right to the other side. Keep alternating back and forth for 1 minute long, and then we'll jump right into the upper body exercises. So after the single leg squats on the box or the chair, we're going to go into 1.5 squats using body weight. So here we're going to squat down, stand on our heels, and then give it a little half squat right after, and then come up nice and tall. So from the side here, squatting right down, come up right to a half squat, and then come up nice and tall. Same thing here. You would want to do that for 1 minute long. Try not to rest in between. Okay, now we're going to move into a little bit of power for the lower body here. We have jump squats. So here using our arms as well, sitting on those heels still, squatting right down, bring those arms back. Once we get to that low position of the squat, we're going to push through those heels, bring our arms right through, and then jump up, reach as high as we can. From the side here, squatting right down. Again, we don't want to come up on those toes. Sit right back on the heels, and then rip those arms through, jumping up nice and high each time. There, we could either do that for 30 seconds or 1 minute, depending on your fitness level. All right, so now we're going to get into a little bit of upper body work. Down on the ground, using a towel or a piece of clothing, we're going to get our knees right on there, coming into a push-up position. We have a power through. So we're gonna slide those knees right back and then rip right through. Make sure that back is nice and flat so we're not arched and it's not caved in either. Keep that core nice and tight for some support. Coming right back, and then use those arms to rip right through. Again, here you could either do that for 30 seconds or a minute, depending on your fitness level. So our next upper body workout is going to be a push-up with rotation. So if you want to start from that push-up position, we're going to drop right down and then turn right open. If that is too hard, we can modify it, again using a towel or an article of clothing, coming down right to our knees in that push-up position still. Come right down and then come right up to that rotation there. Okay? Again, that can be done for 30 seconds to a minute. This last upper body workout is going to hit the triceps a little more. We're still in that push-up position though. So down on our knees, using that towel of article of clothing. Right down here, we're going to come back a little ways, sit into those heels a little bit, and then come right through up nice and high, hitting those triceps. So right back, sit into the heel, come through, nice and high, squeeze those triceps right as we come through. Again, performing that exercise for 30 seconds to a minute. All right, so moving back to that lower body. The first set of lower body exercises, we are hitting the anterior chain. Here we're going to hit more of the posterior chain. So the first one, we're going to do a single leg heel tap squat. So kicking one leg up, we're going to squat right down. Tap that heel, making sure that all of that weight is still on the heel, and then come up nice and tall. If that is too hard, you have a little bit of balance issues, we can modify it by kicking that foot out and kind of using it as a kickstand. So coming here, still sitting right on that heel, tap the heel, and then come up nice and tall. Okay, so again, kick that foot right out, nice and tall. Here you would want to alternate back and forth, 30 seconds to a minute. So from the side here, keeping that foot up, make sure it doesn't hit the ground at all. And then if we have to modify it a little bit, kicking that foot right out, toes on the floor. All that weight is on that front foot though. Come up nice and tall, 30 seconds to a minute on each side. So this next exercise for the posterior chain, we have a sprinter lunge. So we're going to kick that leg right back into a lunge, but we're going to come down and bring our hands to the floor. Should feel it right in the hamstrings here, and then come up nice and tall. We would alternate between each side, coming right back up. So from the side here, kick that leg right back into a sprinter position, and then come up nice and tall. Again, going 30 seconds to a minute on each side. So this last one for the posterior chain of the legs, we're going to do the same exact thing, but we're going to make it into a plyometric exercise. So here, that sprinter lunge, going right back and forth, alternating each side. So from the side view, same thing, kicking that leg right out, coming here. We're just going to alternate back and forth, giving a little hop in between. Okay, same thing, going for 30 seconds to a minute. Moving back to the upper body here, we're going to use a kettlebell in this sense, but get creative with it. If you have to use something else that's heavy, you could even use a gallon jug of water, fill it up to different levels with the water to make it heavier or lighter, depending on your fitness level. And then you could also use a counter or a chair or a couch to hold on to here. So you can either start from this staggered position, or we can do more squared up position. Keeping that kettlebell or gallon of water hanging down right in front of us. We're gonna retract that shoulder blade and then pull that elbow right through and squeeze that shoulder blade right at the top. So again, retract, pull through, hold for a second or two, and then nice and slow, right back down. Again, you would want to alternate back and forth, doing 30 seconds to a minute on each side. So this next upper body exercise is going to hit more of the arms and the shoulders, going overhead here. So we can start with a kettlebell, a dumbbell, or a gallon jug of water if you had to. Try to be creative with it. So here we're going to curl up and then go right to an overhead press. Nice and slow back down. Make sure to keep that elbow tucked into that rib cage as we curl up, and then turn to go right overhead. Nice and slow back down. Okay? You could do that 30 seconds on the one side, followed by 30 seconds on the other side, or a minute on each side if you wanted to make it a little harder. So this last upper body exercise, we're actually going to be doing right on the ground. So we're going to come down right on our back, making sure that that lower back is right against the ground the whole time. Kind of want to make a W with our arms here, so our elbows are right out. All we're going to do is push through those elbows, bring that upper body right up, and squeeze the shoulder blades right at the top. I like to hold 1, 2, and then nice and slow back down. Here you can do this exercise anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute, depending on your fitness level. So here we're going to work on a little bit of the core. So the first one is going to be a rotating reverse crunch. We're going to come right down on our back. Again, making sure that lower back stays on the ground the whole time. Arms flat on the ground, legs up. We're going to bring those knees to that opposite side, kind of rotating that lower body back and forth. So from this way, here, legs going up, we're bringing those knees right to that opposite side, giving a little bit of rotation with that reverse crunch. Again, you can do this exercise for 30 seconds to a minute, depending on your fitness level. So the second core exercise we're going to do is going to hit more of the upper core here. So coming back down onto the ground, we have a heel tap crunch. So again, that lower back stays on the ground that whole time. We're going to crunch right up and tap those heels, and then nice and slow back down. You can relax the abs when we come back down, but as we go to crunch back up, squeeze the core nice and tight, crunch right up, and nice and slow back down. You can do that anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute. So here to finish off, we're going to finish with a corrective exercise, mostly for the shoulders and the posterior chain here. So we're going to be lying down on our stomach, right on the ground here. We want to make sure to keep that lower body off the ground, squeeze the glutes and the hamstrings nice and hard, and then we're also going to keep those arms up. Here they're called swimmers, so we're going to bring those arms right back, flip those palms to the ceiling, and then we're going to come right back out, flip the palms back down, working on that rotator cuff a little bit here. Okay, so you'd want to do that for 30 seconds to a minute to finish off. So to finish off, we want to do a little bit of a cool down just to get that heart rate down a little bit and we don't injure ourselves at all after working out. So here, we're going to set our timer for 5 to 10 minutes. For 3 minutes long, we're going to give high knees, nice and high here. And then after that 3-minute mark, we want to gradually slow down a little bit, all the way down to where we're doing a march in place for another 3 minutes, or the remainder for the 5 to 10 minutes until that heart rate is down and we're all cooled down. So that is it for the workout, guys. This is Mike from Alpenhaus Fitness. Thank you so much for watching the video. Again, you'd want to do each exercise anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute, depending on your fitness level. And you want to get creative with it. If you have to modify things a little bit, just to switch it up, go ahead. But the most important thing is to stay healthy and fit.